Hey everybody, Zeidoktor here with Typical Manga Fan, and today on the Typical Manga Review, we're gonna have a lot of episodes this week, but the first one we're doing today is going to be Bleach, chapter 641, Baby Hold Your Hand 4, Dash When I Am Sleeping. Well, that's not a bad time to hold your hand, I suppose. But in any case, turns out the reason Nemu was interfered in the fight at all was to bring Mayuri some medicine, which allows him to pretty much regrow the arm he lost battling Pernita.
Yeah, I was wondering why he didn't do that thing, because he did that against Uryu back when he was fighting in the Soul Society arc.
Yeah.
But I guess he just decided to forget, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, I kept watch over you."
Yeah,
that's
because
why I know.
In this case, I guess there was just too much of a rush, so he didn't go through all of his chemicals and things like he normally does before a fight.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so Mayuri recounts the fact that it's kind of creepy that Nemu watches him, but at the same time, though, she's standing with you, like she's always standing next to you. What is she gonna do? Like, of course she's gonna watch you.
Yep.
So.
And at that, yeah. Mayuri jumps back into the fray. He starts moonwalking all over the place to fight Pernita again. Pernita starts shooting more of his nerve arrows.
Yeah. And
wait, and where does the second Pernita hand come from? Because I thought there's only the one there a moment ago. Where did the second one come from? I mean, I know Well, I know he split into two earlier, but I don't know. Did he destroy one? But never mind. I don't know.
I think he already multiplied, I think, by then. So I'd have to look back. But let's just say like he multiplied.
Either way, there's two of them, and apparently Soul Reapers have earbuds now because Mayuri is talking to Nemu from a distance. He's gonna distract Pernita and coat the place with like an anesthetic.
Yeah, well, earbuds come in really weird times. I mean, the Avengers for some reason had earbuds. Naruto for some reason had earbuds. Earbuds are like they're timeless. You can go at any point in time in a fantasy world, and you can always find earbuds.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they're scientists. Yeah. Plus, they're scientists, so whatever.
Yeah, imagine with One Piece, we'll probably get like little tiny snails in the ear, like little babblefish.
Oh, that's so disgusting. Anyway, so he explains some stuff about the effect on his body from the nerves on the arrows.
Yeah, like he doesn't think it will affect Pernita's actual body, but it should affect the nerves that are already scattered around, and it will weaken his arrows as well.
Yeah, so he's sending Nemu to go and try to implement that like whatever the injection, the drug.
Yeah, which is a nerve freezing agent, it says here.
Yeah, and then he last maniacally saying, blah blah blah. The power of this drug, you can't move, basically.
Kind of like what happened to Kenpachi earlier.
Yeah. So, Nemu's response saying, first off, you're too loud. Silence! Wow, she actually has a lot of balls for, like, talking back to him like that. Mm. I would be, if this is the type of guy who, like, beats me every time I do something to help him, I mean, saying stuff like that would be scare the shit out of me, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so, yeah, So they talk about the drug, and you know what? First of all, I like about this chapter is that there's actually a lot of action. People dodging arrows. So like if
tactics too.
Huh?
Tactics too.
Yes, tactics. So you got tactics and you got action. So she's constantly dodging arrows. Mayuri is moving around too, and then the hands constantly shooting stuff. So like they're not just standing there. Like people are actually moving.
Yep.
So it's a very good departure from the previous types of action. At the same time, though, unfortunately, that's the only good thing I can say about this chapter. And I'll tell you why later. Yep. So yeah, Nemu tries to inject the drug, and she gets him. He starts turning black, assuming that he's white. Yeah, he's white to begin with. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean at the very least, it's a contrasting color.
Yeah, it's contrasting color because I'm like, it's black and white. Is he really white? It's a Quincy, so I'm sure he's white.
He's German, probably.
I forgot. And they're basically Nazis, so of course they. Well, even though they had black people in there in their ranks, though, whatever. So yeah. Not only that, but so that the entire hand, the entire hand becomes black, and so the other hand that's still white is like, holy shit!
It's actually working. No, it's not.
Yeah. And then Mayuri's like, I'm time to checkmate. And so so unsurprisingly, as you mentioned, Pernita just cuts off the finger that had the.
He basically pulls a Walking Dead on this.
Yeah.
Cuts off the infected body part before the infection can spread everywhere else.
Yeah.
And it's like you're gonna do better than that, Kuro's Tutsi. And that's when it kind of clicks for Mayuri. Like the way he's talking right now, it's almost as if Kenpachi were melting off at him. And then that's how it's been able to evolve. It absorbs information from the and it gets nerves are connected to and matures because of it.
Hey, I have a question. I noticed this, but if one of the hands got infected, does that mean the other hand got infected too?
Well, that seems to be what happened. But
Is that because they're connected by nerves?
Very probably.
Okay, so yeah, it already took over one of the hands, and it was about to take over the last one, but he cut off the thumb, whatever. Yeah, the thumb that was getting infected. And it turns out that he apparently can absorb information from anything he touches with his nerves, and he touched Zaraki and also Ryorichi. If you think about it too.
Yep.
So that's why he's able to evolve, and apparently, but even though he's gained information from Zaraki, it implies he also gained his powers, like his reflexes and his speed.
He probably gained some of it, like at least maybe not to Kenpachi's own level, but he definitely gained some from that.
Well, it says it right here.
Yeah.
Up to Zaraki's level, assuming he assumed that was the case, and unfortunately, regardless of whether it's close or at his level, Nemu's screwed. So he tells Nemu to fall back, and
that's when the frozen hand seems to peel out of its little nerve-freezing shell. Apparently with one of Mayuri's abilities.
Yeah.
And then we get he's warning Nemu to fall back, but it's apparently too late as a shadow of a hand falls over Nemu and the shot of her chest.
Yeah. I actually didn't pay attention to that, but yeah. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna have a self-sacrifice probably. Mayuri might actually feel something, and even then I still don't sympathize with him, or empathize, whatever.
That's assuming he even does that in the first place. I somewhat doubt it, but you never know.
Yeah, well, that's what Kuba's going for. Whether he does it, he's not doing it very. I don't agree with the fact that he's doing it, but that is what he's doing. That's what it seems. So he's probably gonna write it so that Mayuri feels something when Nemu blocks the attack. Nemu might die because. Remember, actually, I realized that she had a flashback. Don't we usually have flashbacks right before someone dies?
I never really noticed the trend one way or the other in Bleach, but very probably.
Anyway, so yeah, it seems that Nemu's gonna die.
Actually, I do stand corrected on that because we have been kind of seeing a bit of that, haven't we?
Yeah. So, it seems like Nemu's gonna die, and Mayuri's gonna be like, no, I actually kind of maybe sort of care for you, somewhat, like a little puppy.
He will use those exact words.
Yeah. And then maybe he pulls off a trump card that we don't really know about.
Nor care about.
Yeah, nor care about. Here's the thing. This hand cannot be destroyed because I'm sure there's a plot in which the hands and limbs, the limbs, rejoin the original body. I'm sure it's gonna happen somehow. So
chances are, if he does get defeated, Mayuri's gonna probably freeze him in place or something.
So, something that keeps him intact, because there's no way you're gonna have this. You have this plot about the limbs, because we don't know much about them. So we gotta find a way to learn about them, and we gotta see if they will. It seems very likely and very Bleach-ish to rejoin the limbs, and then eventually maybe that will resurrect the Soul King.
Right. Of course, which side will want to resurrect the Soul King is going to be the question now.
I think it's gonna resurrect the original Soul King. Because it's his hands so far.
But I mean, which side? The Quincy's or the Soul Reapers are going to want to revive him?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Or Ichigo.
Well, I think it's going to be the Shinigami that's going to want to be revived. Because remember that Ukitake tried to keep the Soul King alive. Mm-hmm. And that if the original Soul King comes back, he might be able to displace Yuabok as the Soul King, because that's what Yuabok is now.
He's going to spank his son with his newly regained hands.
Who knows? Is it gonna be the righty or the lefty? But yeah.
Hey now, left hand, you owe me. Ow.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I felt this is such a. Even though it had a lot of action, it still felt like a trap card-ish type of move that the hand did. It's like, oh, of course it wouldn't work. Like, it's not that it didn't even affect him. It's like it slightly. It's like it didn't work at all. Like, that's what I hate about Bleach. Bleach moves is that it's not that one kind of affects you, is that it doesn't affect you.
Unless it's the final move.
It's only the final move that actually does the killing blow. Everything else is just like it's like fighting a dot hack boss. It's like all the previous shit doesn't matter. It's like only the final move counts.
It doesn't matter until you get that little data drain thing going.
Yeah, the data drain. Yeah. So, and then you can start killing them. But other than that, it's just like that's why I don't like about Bleach fight specifically, is that before the last move, none of the previous moves even do anything, like at all. Even Naruto, even like actually, yeah, with Naruto, like at least some of the fights, I mean, at least some of the moves may not work completely, but it works somewhat. Like it helps them in the end, you know. It accumulates. The damage accumulates, and it just so that's why it feels. That's why when you watch a Bleach chapter, you feel like 9% of it's worthless because technically speaking, it really was. It never actually mattered.
Right, because it just leads up to whatever's going to actually finish the fight.
Yeah, it's just there to get your heart beating. Other than that, in terms of a story perspective, like in universe, it doesn't do anything, and that's why I hate like. He might as well have just not done this move. Like he could just skip to the end of this like type of sequence, and it wouldn't have made a difference. So it's kind of annoying. And of course, the predictable Nemu, sacrifices a life. I can't. It's just I don't like the fact that they're trying to make us feel bad for Mayuri because he's killed many people. Kind of sort of caring for his daughter who he regularly abuses and still says she has no like right to do anything by herself. I don't want to feel anything for this guy. Like he's still a bad person. He's still evil. He's just
I mean he was introduced through genocide.
Exactly. He's killed and taken pleasure in torturing and dissecting people. He even like
only
put
the fact,
bombs in them. Yeah.
Are we supposed to think it's a good thing now because all those people he killed were Quincy?
It's like Hitler. It's like finding out that Hitler gave a shit about his dog and his wife. It's like, okay, fine, he's not a completely 100% bad guy, but he still killed 6 million Jewish people, and as well as start World War II. So, no, he is not excused.
I know, and and we call the Quincy the Nazis, really, but even so,
it's kind of
after all this, like the Quincy have never really made mention of the fact that Mayuri's pretty much used them all as guinea pigs.
Yeah, it's a complete missed opportunity. I mean, I guess the Quincy's have this thing where they don't give a shit about them, like the other people who aren't really part of them, because the Quincy's that Mayuri's killed, I think, really didn't have anything to do with the Vandenreich. They have this thing where they probably don't care. They probably thought them as like survival of the fittest type of people, like as a type of mentality where they were losers in that sort of game, or in that sort of
that does kind of work with their general mentality.
It does, yeah. So it's like, oh, you got killed by the Shinigami, well, you deserve to die then. So that might be why they don't care. But at the same time, though, it does kind of feel very like a missed opportunity when you think about what he did to the Quincy's and the fact that he indirectly led to the death of Soken Ishida. So you think something would be made out of that, but no, he's just another guy. He's just another Shinigami captain who's a little more crazy than the rest. Or a little crazier and evil.
Well, he's crazier in the bad way. Sociopathic, psychotic. Take your pick.
Yeah. At the same time, though, I mean, I hate how we're forced to cheer for this guy. I hate how we're forced to cheer for Mayuri. I don't like that, I think that's the issue I have. It's like...
I mean, at the very least, we want him to win because he's with the protagonist, but yeah, I don't think we should be cheering for him.
Even the freaking... that movie, what's that movie? The Interview, the one with the Seth Rogen and James Franco.
Yeah, that's the one. The one where they interview / assassinate the Korean leader.
Yeah, Kim Jong Un. They tried to humanize him at first, but then the movie makes you realize, like, look, he is still a human being, but he's effed up. He's like he's at a point where you can't save him, and you have to destroy him. Yeah. So in the end, even that movie realized that. So Kubo, stop it, man. Just stop. Don't try to make this whole thing more than it is, okay? This is not something... I guess to me this is more trying to develop Nemu than it is trying to develop Mayuri.
Now that I could get behind, because that does seem to be what we're looking at right now.
Nemu legitimately does care for Mayuri because of her, because she's always thankful for the fact that he gave her life. Although I think this is one of those where you have to cut the cord and realize that, look, sometimes your dad and mom isn't exactly who you want them to be, and sometimes you gotta leave. And and understand that you're not in that good situation, but that's what I wanted out of Nemu. I wanted Nemu to fight back. I don't want Nemu to sacrifice a life for Mayuri to support him.
Or even just die in battle. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what it seems to be happening is that she's gonna be dying. Like she's gonna be used as the stepping stone for Mayuri's character development, rather than because look, the fact that she cares for Mayuri that hasn't changed at all. So it's just that she's being a little more active about it, or in defying his orders. But it's kind of expected if you think about it. Because if you were to ask yourself, ask yourself, like, would she have sacrificed a life against his orders if it had to be? Then everyone would be like, yeah, she would.
Yeah, she would.
yeah, so it's not really much of a change from Nemu's character. It's a movement, it's progress, but it's like you could see this coming. Whereas Mayuri, it's just like, no, I don't want to see that. You know, I don't want Nemu's death to develop Mayuri because I don't think this is a guy who I want to get behind, and that's the problem. I think Mayuri's just too far gone. He's done too much for a reasonable person to say, I'm gonna get behind the guy, even if he shows a bit of humanity. It's not enough. He has to turn it around 180 and do a lot of shit for over a lot of years to really start undoing what he's done. Oh, not even undoing, but like repenting for what he's done. Other than that, you know,
assuming he's even interested in doing so.
And that's the thing. He's not even interested. It's just he somewhat superficially kind of cares for Nemu like an object. Because he even said, like, the reason why I don't want you to die is not because I care for you. It's because I just think it's a hassle to replace you. And maybe you can say, oh, he's telling himself that, but in reality he feels something more. It's like, no. I think that's what he really believes. Because he's not shown anything otherwise.
Right.
You know, again, he just smashed her head into the freaking concrete floor. I mean, again, it's not enough. It's just, you know, I feel like there's too much against him to really do anything about it. So yeah, that's my little rant.
Yep. And rant away you did there. So, and like I said, I don't really have much to add. You pretty much covered any points I would think of, and I do hope that this does use to explore Nemu, but given that she's a female character in a shonen manga, I'm not holding up my hopes.
And especially in Kubo, Bleach, because Bleach does, if anything, of all the three, Bleach does probably one of the worst jobs of portraying female characters.
Kishimoto is up and down. Ode is usually good, but this Dressrosa has been kind of a downside for him.
Yeah, but Kubo has the worst
track record.
Track record, yeah. So yeah, it's not. Yeah, I'm not excited. I mean, yeah, Nemu, like Mayuri dying and Nemu like getting a power up to like take revenge or whatever, or move on from Mayuri. That would have been awesome. But I definitely don't see how that's good. I don't see that happening at all. So
what I now see happening, Nemu has Bankai.
How about like, do you think you see that happening?
Now that you say it like that, yes, I do. I mean, why not?
Maybe she is the Bankai.
I could see that, like, merged with her sword in some way.
Well, I mean,
like,
the problem is she doesn't.
Of course, that's more like an Arankar Bankai.
Well, I mean, I was thinking of like how there's a theory going around what's that girl's name again? That the one for Kenpachi.
Yachiru.
Yeah, Yachiru. Why did I forget that? It's the name of the original Kenpachi. Yachiru. The people are theorizing that she's actually the spirit of his Zanpakuto. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But that's what I actually was thinking of, something like that, or not like she's the spirit, but like she is the device. Like he modified her to be like his secret trump card or something, like the final stage of his Bankai. Mm-hmm. That's a possibility. But at the same time, though, it's still a stepping stool for Mayuri. That's what I don't like. And your theory about her having a Bankai for herself, she hasn't even shown a Shikai yet. A Bankai is a little too far off at that point.
If it weren't for last week, I'd wonder if she even had a Zanpakuto.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, she we don't even know the name of her. Like, we don't even know what the sword she has with her. She does have a sword. We don't even know that is an actual Zanpakuto. It's just a sword, you know. So again, I think that's having a Bankai is just a little too far off from what we see now. Like, you know, at least from how Kubo slowly reveals things over time. You know, I don't think he skipped a step like that. So.
Yeah.
Like he would never skip a Shikai to get a Bankai. If anything, he'd go to the Shikai and have the Shikai be the finishing blow, and then have the Bankai be used later, because that actually allows him to use the character longer than usually. And
he'd also allow like the Shikai to fail and then necessitate the Bankai. That is his style.
So regardless, skipping over a Shikai it seems very uncharacteristic of Kubo, because it's like saying because you're foregoing the opportunity to stretch the manga on for longer, which is something that Kubo would never do. So
not if it can help it.
So yeah. I think that's all I can say I'll say about Bleach for this week.
Yeah, like I said, I don't have too much to say on this one. I do like the chapter. Did have like a lot more action, like you said, and actual tactics being involved. It looks like, even if it was still a little trap card, it wasn't quite as much so. At least not to my mind, anyway.
Yeah.
But in any case, that's been our review here of Bleach, chapter 641. Baby, hold your hand when I am sleeping, and go ahead and take us away.
Bye!